What's up, y'all? Today we got a super dope graphic that is based off one of my favorite games, Call of Duty Zombies, and one of my favorite maps, Ascension. Works super well with the Air Force and Space Force brand because of the rocket ship vibes. So let's get right into it. What do we have first? A rocket ship. So this is just a picture I found online. Put a smart filter on it, camera raw filter, just to make it a little more contrasty in certain areas. Then made it super contrasty with this curves layer, and the goal there was to kind of get the background black, just fading into the dark areas of this photo, so it like works really well with the black background now. And then what we did is just took a hue saturation layer, click colorize, and set it to blue, and that just makes that whole picture look blue. So then we have this picture of a zombie looking face, and that's sort of what that looks like. Pretty cool zombie eye and like face. Kind of hard to tell what's going on, but the eye looked sick and the skin just looks super detailed, so love that. And so we just brushed that away. That's set to lighten, so we just brushed it away outside of the cloud, and now it's like the cloud is like creating his face. So I just love that effect. Super cool that that worked out that way. And then we have this picture, which is set to linear light. That's how it looks pretty much normally, and then I just kind of shaped it to where this eye picture kind of fit right in. So set that to linear light, 75% opacity, and then just brushed away certain pieces of it. Really what we wanted to highlight is like the teeth and kind of the nose and just like the bone structure coming out. So then what I did is put a hue saturation layer on that, and since really the only color on there was red, we just used the master slider and changed that from red to blue. Then I have this picture that I cut out. That's what it looks like normally. Just cut off the top, probably did a remove background on that bad boy, which worked pretty well because obviously I did not go in and cut out around these tree branches. So that worked pretty well, did that, and then we put some shading, which is a black brush over here, and used a curves layer to just bring down the brightness to kind of match the dark vibes of the rest of it. And then did the same thing with another curves layer and kind of just painted it away from right here, so it just gets darker as it gets away from the camera. So this is the lightest place. This is where our cutout will go. And so we have the white outline around the back to make it look like the light is just kind of like hitting it, like it has a backlighting to it. And then I put this same photo over top with a color dodge layer style and just brush that in. So that's what it looks like without brushing it. And then I just brushed in basically where the mouth is and stuff. So it just kind of gives a cool effect of like the face like coming through, and like the you know, nose bone thing here is a lot more pronounced, which I love. Just super creepy looking. And then we had to change that to blue as well, which just looks super good. Like the details and stuff in here, and that crispy blue looks great. That was another hue saturation layer. Just used the master slider, changed it to blue. Then we start putting in these different zombie photos. So this is just a picture I found of like a weird looking zombie thing coming through a wall, which is what they do in the zombies game. So I love that I found that, was able to like stick that in there. And literally all these were found online, and they're all just like totally separate, different looking zombies that, because they're so far away, it just kind of worked for me to use different looking zombies and put them in there, and then just kind of make them end up looking the same way. So obviously like this is like a picture of him like coming through a thing, so I just cut out a square and put it in this window. This one is an actual cutout of a zombie, so I put him in the top left, and he's way too bright, so we had to darken him up with the curves layer and then just cut him out, you know, where the window would be. And then we have another zombie. See, this one looks even different than the other ones. He looks super yellow and weird looking. So use a curves layer to give him some contrast, brighten him up, and we'll fix all of their looks in a minute. But we have this guy, another different looking zombie. Perfect that he was in this formation because it kind of looks like he's like hopping out of a window, sort of. So put him in this window like he's about to hop down. And then we have this guy, another different looking dude. He looks pretty goofy. Got some like clothes on that are getting kind of ripped to shreds. Give him an inner shadow just to kind of make it look like he's backlit. The inner shadow is a light linear dodge add with like a little bit of blue just to like show that light is hitting him. So this building would block the light from this rocket for these guys, but it might not for like him and the people that are like closer this way. So then on him, I just darkened him up a little bit to kind of match him with the rest. Then we have this guy over here, another different looking zombie. Kind of hard to even tell what's going on there. Brought up the darks on him. And then we have this last zombie. He's a big boy. We have him closer to the camera. And so that's it. They all look different and colors a little bit different stuff going on. So then what we did to them is we made them all grayish bluish to kind of fit the background and the rest of the scene. And then put a huge curves layer on them, darken it up, gave them a bunch of contrast. So it just gives them a lot of detail, but like now they all look the same for the most part. So that's good. Kind of hard to see the details, but that's like fits right in because the graphic is dark, so you can't really tell what's going on anyway. Then we have this chain fence, which I used a background removal on that as well, I'm pretty sure. Just used this building cutout to take away this chunk of it so that it's just kind of like a cool thing to add in. Obviously, it doesn't make sense for this to be like going behind this building. Like this would be a humongous barbed wire fence, but I thought it was really cool and I thought it just like fit the aesthetic of the graphic. So put that in there, added an inner shadow, which is that same probably like color dodge blue to give it that lighting effect from the back. And then used a curves layer to darken that bad boy way up because it was too light, and a shade layer, just a gradient, black gradient, I guess, and dragged it up that way, and that kind of makes it blend in, but you see you still have that like lighting pop on the edges there just to show you it's there. And then we have the eyes of all the zombies. So this is something I like added in last minute, which is literally just a tiny blue soft brush that I painted in, or a tiny white soft brush that I painted in, just like clicked on each of their eye sockets. Just a white brush with an outer glow. The outer glow is set to this, blue, teal, whatever. Opacity 100% set to screen. That's what gives it that look, like they have the glowing eyes. Then we have our cutout, finally. And on him we have an inner shadow, which is that same blue color dodge coming from this corner where the lighting from the rocket ship is. And then we use a hue saturation layer to take away his skin color and a curves layer to give him a bunch of contrast to make him fit in with the background and how dark it is, because without that he looks just like not blended well. So that's what you gotta do. You gotta fix the lighting of each thing to make it like look like it's actually in the graphic and belongs with everything else there. So I could have left this like it is, and I kind of like that, but I added in some shading in the bottom to give it a little bit more depth and also allow for some stuff to be put down here that will like be contrasted from that. Then we have Ascension up top, just a cool font that I found, and put a bevel on top of that, and then just found this like metal texture that happens to be turquoise, but made that black and white. Just kind of gives it that little bit of a grunge look, and then use a curves layer to give that a bunch of contrast. And then we have the player name, or for right now, my name. Then I made this little box over here. It's literally just different rectangles and squares and stuff to make it look like a game cover. And you just add in different words that make sense: Air Force, AF, Space Force. So all that works out good. Then we have, instead of Call of Duty, like their logo, Call to Ball, Zombies Ascension. It's really fun to kind of like come up with your own little like sayings and logos based off of the game, but also like tying the team to whatever you're referencing. So we added in color lookup just to give it one final look, and then stamped it and did the apply image technique to just paint in some glow where the light is kind of around here, and then on his eye a little bit. Then we added in the white bolt in the bottom corner. And if you want access to graphics like these, check out my Patreon, and you can look through my Photoshop files and see what I did, mess around with them yourself. If you enjoyed this video and learned something, check out this next video.